Hi, everyone. Welcome. Today's special event with Tom. And a lot of you already know him. And I know that as soon as people are alerted that we're on, Tom, they'll start popping in. Hi, Karen. Hi, Suzanne. Sissy's here. And I already started a couple questions that came in for you. So,
Oh boy.
do you see the chat? Can you see the chat on your?
Maybe with my, well, I don't see, it says private chat. What do I have to do?
Oh no, go to the other chat.
Go to the comments or?
Yeah, go to comments and you'll see everybody saying hi
Oh,
and
there we
stuff.
go. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. So those are just so you can if there's a special one, I'll probably just put it on where you can see.
Sure. Or just read it out.
I'll just read it out to you. That's
Yeah.
fine. With your setup, it's a little different. So but anyways, welcome, Tom. I'm super excited. Lots of things happening in the universe. Literally. And so it's always a pleasure to be with you. And today we get to have the community here with us too, bringing in their questions that we can try to answer the best that we can with what we know. But before we get started, there are people here who haven't met you, possibly. So if you could give a little intro about yourself, let us know a little bit about you. I know you're like,
where
do I even begin?
Oh gosh.
Where do I start?
Well, let's see. I'm the author of 6 books, and I'm editing my 7th book right now, which is tentatively titled "Conversations with Gaia." And
Conversations with Gaia. I like it.
And then I'm also the CEO of a small international film and TV program distribution company. Been doing that for about 40 years. And I self-taught myself to be a telepath in 2005. And since then, I have asked over 30,000 questions in a meditative state. I'm told I'm the only person that does that in the world, where I take questions from people literally from all over the planet and ask them in these meditative states. And I speak to Gaia and my own guardian angel Theo and Antura, who is a member of my soul group, or cluster as they're called. And he's an ET that's 50 miles above us in a Syrian mothership right now, taking millions of readings each day as part of the Earth experiment. And then I've spoken to, in recent months, I've had more conversations with the creator of our universe. And the creator tells me, hey, anyone can ask to speak to creator at any time. He can handle trillions of communications and conversations all at the same time, many beyond our understanding. And just ask to speak to him, and he'll even answer the most trivial questions. So you don't have to think that you have to communicate through a certain organization or church or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave that to your imagination. And so I put out a weekly newsletter that's free for everybody. You can sign up for it on my website, www.thegentlewaybook.com. And I put out a weekly blog. So I keep fairly busy.
I highly recommend the what I just the
newsletter or what?
The newsletter.
Okay.
Yes. So here's the website. So here's Tom's website, thegentlewaybook.com, and you will
And
find.
you notice it only is singular because I was told I had the right books, and I said no, 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 and I was said yes, you're going to write books. So I made the website book because I didn't think I could ever write more than one book.
And there it stays, book, although he has several books. So yes, so go to thegentlewaybook.com, sign up for the free newsletter, and it's not just as a little newsletter. I mean, it is packed full of information, and trust me, you'll love it. And
10
you
to 12
also,
pages every week.
yeah, 10 or 12
I
pages, you
keep
guys.
having lots of people ask questions.
Yeah. So those questions come in and he addresses them, guys. And so I highly recommend to sign up for his newsletter. And this is his website, thegentlewaybook.com. And you saw some of the books I put up earlier, and I'll do it again so you can see. But we have here, let me move that banner real quick so we
If
can
you don't
see
have
it.
one of the Gentle Way books,
Right. So
throw
you
one
have,
in.
I have that one.
Oh, you
There's
did. You did
yeah,
get it.
I
Okay.
do have that one. I don't have the other one. There's one other one that I
Yeah.
think.
And I don't have it near
Okay.
where I can
And
reach
then
it.
we have First Contact. Now your next one is Conversations with Gaia. That is your next book coming out.
Yeah. For my
And The Gentle
conversations with
Way
God.
with
Yeah.
Pets. And for a lot of you who have read these books or know Tom, the most benevolent outcome prayer is found in the Gentle Way book and the Gentle Way with Pets book. So, all right,
There we go.
there we go. So today, you know, there's a couple things we want to talk about, but we're going to start the day off in regards to talking about the Big Bang.
Okay.
And kind of, so I'm going to hand it to you, Tom. The Big Bang.
Okay.
Talk to us about.
Right. Obviously, there have been many, many theories about how the universe was formed. And between speaking to Gaia and also to Creator, I came to understand that it's more like a little bang theory because Creator, after Creator had gone millions of years uh, checking out other of the trillions of universes, um, Creator started creating several hundred galaxies. Okay. So that was kind of like a little bang. And then after that, after Creator was satisfied with those, then he had several more rounds where he would create thousands of galaxies at one time. Now, what's amazing is that of all the trillions of galaxies in our universe, not one is the same as another. And to me, I mean, that's just amazing. Now, I've even heard recently somebody say, well, I wonder if aliens created some galaxies. No, um, there has to be eventually, because we're veiled as part of this Earth experiment, eventually everyone will learn that there truly is a creator of our universe. And that shouldn't be scary. I call him creator because when you use the word God or Allah or however uh, you say it, typically because of our previous religious instructions or training or what have you, the word God has limits
Mhm.
because there are people that think, oh, God can be an angry God. No, that's humans interpreting, and the Creator is only love, and Creator allows for us to grow and make mistakes and work it out, and eventually uh, raise our own vibrational levels, which is what all of our souls wish to do. So that was kind of like the start. Now, one of the things that I've learned is that the universe, instead of being 13.5 billion years old, it's actually 25 billion years old. Now, the James Webb telescope will, in the next 3 to 5 years, and they're already starting to see this. I saw a posting recently where they had a little bitty red spot, just like that on the screen. And they were saying, wow, that's far away or something. And so eventually these astronomers will figure out that the universe is actually older than 13.5. They'll peg it at 20 billion, but in reality, it's 25 billion because we don't have the instruments yet to be able to see the far reaches of the universe.
Right.
Yeah. So that's coming, and also the James Webb telescope is going to discover that the stars we see in the sky, and I think they're towards Sagittarius, but don't hold me to that, are actually in the next universe over, and that's not our universe. And the James Webb telescope will be able to determine that those galaxies are completely different from our galaxies. I don't know how they're going to do that, but that's.
I was just going to ask you, how can you tell when one galaxy stops and another one begins? And then also, yeah, how can they?
Okay. And well, that's another thing they're going to discover is that there's this millions of miles wide um, uh, dead zone or a zone in between the two galaxies where there's nothing. And so they're going to discover this million miles wide void. That's what the word I was trying to use. And it stretches all along the side between our universe and the next one over. Okay, so those are three things that you could kind of look for in the next 3 to 5 years, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
So this gets back to Gaia, and Gaia was attracted to Creator's universe very, very early, right at the very start. And Creator understood that Gaia had ambitions, if you want to call it, or the desire to eventually become a quantum master. And so Creator told Gaia, well, okay, if you want to do this, then you're going to have to visit all of the galaxies that I have formed so far. And you're going to need to go through the galaxies and discover and ask why the souls inhabiting the stars, the planets, the moons, and so on, why they were attracted to that galaxy. And so this started millions of years. Uh, uh, Gaia ensouled a 2 mile wide asteroid that could be guided from one galaxy to the next. And so for the next several million years, she went through these galaxies learning all about it. And that's, and I'm sure I'm just scratching the surface on what she was able to learn. But
is there any particular galaxy or planet that she was particularly wanting to recreate?
no, she loves variety, and she wanted every single one of the galaxies to be different than the others. So, as an example, you've noticed, everybody's noticed one that's called the Sombrero Galaxy. That's kind of a neat one to look at. So there are all these galaxies, and the Milky Way galaxy, our galaxy, is different from all the others. Um, the central sun Alcyon, I'm told, uh, would be able to hold thousands of suns within its diameter.
Wow.
So
Okay.
anyway, that was her trek, and eventually, of course, Earth was moved here from the Sirius B star system, and it was ensouled by a soul, but because of um, the Earth experiment, where there were going to be 12 Earths, um, and it needed a quantum master to be able to handle that. Um, that soul was given another planet, and Gaia took over this planet.
Okay. Is there any message that you can share with us that she would like us to know today?
Well, I guess it might be several messages, but I'll choose one.
Okay.
Um, so many people are scared that they have a fear that somehow the Earth is going to end um, in 10 years, 100 years, whatever it happens to be. And she just wants to always remind us that the Earth experiment is going to last for 7,000 more years. Now, keep in mind, it's been in effect for millions of years. Um, but but the Earth experiment will end in 7,000 years, and by that time, there will only be a few hundred people left on Earth. Everyone else will have returned back to their home planets where they came from before where they had thousands of lives, and will I'm told that I'm supposed to be in charge of the last cleanup crew that will bring Earth back to its pristine uh, ability and or pristine condition. And I asked just the other day, well, how many people will be on that crew? And I was told there'll only be about 100 on each continent. And by then, in 7,000 years, we will be able to change the molecules back from structures or whatever they were back to Earth. And when we leave, it will be this pristine, beautiful Earth and will become a vacation spot for people from all over this universe and other universes to come, because there will be a tiny bit of this negative energy left over, just enough for everybody to feel a little difference.
Oh, interesting. Now, is there another Earth experience somewhere else that people will continue to choose to have lifetimes at for
You
different
mean
types?
after?
Mhm.
After? Oh, yes, thousands of lives. Um, that's our souls, after we get through the point where in 3250 we start traveling to other planets, we finally learn how to what's called portal hop, using these energetic pathways between planets and galaxies. Um, so we can portal hop across the universe. We'll be bringing this negative energy with us, and it'll spread throughout our universe and eventually all the other universes, all the trillions of others. And so after we finish these lives as part of the Earth experiment, we will go back to our home planets, and we will continue to help people that did not take part in the Earth experiment to raise their vibrational levels. But we will eventually raise our vibrational levels throughout millions of years. It's not going to be overnight, to the point where one day in the future, our souls will all merge and we'll become a creator and take over running this universe from creator, and creator will go to something like the 32nd dimension where there's just a very, very few creators that have done that. And our creator is already in touch with one creator on that level.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And is this all things that you will be addressing in your newest creative writing experience with the
Well, yeah, I'm still editing. So my editor finally had put everything together, and I'm going through correcting um, lots of different kinds of corrections. So I don't know how much of this will be in there. I do know the small bang theory will be in there, and Gaia's journey to Earth and all. I'm making sure that is, but
Okay.
I still have a lot of the pages of the book to read.
Has does Gaia tell you have you had this experience with Gaia that tells us how to love the energy better here, the earth energy better?
Well, of course, I'm told that, and it's on my website under science, that we're supposed to say, I send white light and love to every single continent, every single island, all the rivers, lakes, and streams, all the oceans and seas of the world. And I release this white light to go where it's needed the most, to light up the darkest corners of the planet. So there's no more darkness, only light, and no more secrets. And I send white light and love to all the other timeline Earths too, the very same way. So, anyway, that's what you should be saying, because you're raising everyone's vibrational level just a tiny bit each time you say that, because
Okay.
our voices, uh, uh, people will learn in the future that the verbal voice is very powerful. And when you start sending love and light out, it's very, very powerful.
That's beautiful. Now, do you have that in the book that we can follow when we? Um,
Uh,
these are
that's a good
also
suggestion.
helpful.
Probably I need to, but
Okay, yeah, because I feel like these are all just, even if you put it in the little a
addendum.
little back part where you can pray for Gaia. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It would really be helpful.
And the
We,
other thing, I say each morning, and these are things to say each morning, and I'm told they're very powerful, and should be saying them every morning, and a lot of people don't. So, but I'm trying to encourage everyone. You need to be saying also, I ask any and all beings to come to the aid and comfort of anyone that I've ever harmed, either physically, mentally, morally, spiritually, or emotionally, in any past, present, or future life. And I ask that any and all beings come to the aid and comfort of the families and friends of anyone that I've ever harmed in any way, in any past, present, or future life. Now, I'm told by Theo that is the supposedly I've had 1,005 lives so far, and this is the first life in all those hundreds of lives that I've ever come up with that. And Theo says that is very powerful, and that if people say that every day, it will make your lives for sure easier in the future, but somehow it affects your past lives, so that you don't have to have as much balancing in the future by saying that prayer every single day, because our lives are all going on at the same time, because time is an illusion to us. So when you say that prayer, you're affecting that day in every one of your other lives.
it's beautiful. Gives me the chills. I Good Stuff says Tom has great signs that you can print on his website. So you have these prayers written out for us on your website.
Yes.
Perfect. You guys go to the website, sign up
And
for,
click on signs, SIGNS. And
click on
you'll
those
find it.
signs and print these out or write them out. Also, sign up for that newsletter if you haven't. Sign up for the newsletter if you
Oh,
haven't,
yes.
while you're there printing these out.
Yeah.
So
And
thank
keep
you.
in mind, you can go to articles and news, and I have all my newsletters archived there since I started doing newsletters in 2007. So I'm completely open. I mean, I'm not perfect. Okay, I estimate that I'm around 10 or 20% inaccurate. 89%, I hope, accurate. And so it all depends on days when, what the planetary aspects are, whether I'm exhausted from having done something in the days before, whatever it happens to be. So, um, so you can see where I've hit and where I've missed, and it's all open.
That's okay. I mean, that's pretty accurate across the board. How we interpret it. We are humans, and we get this information. We have to bring it through this vessel, right?
Yeah.
And interpreting can be tricky. All right.
If you start meditating, just surround yourself with white light and say, I'd like to speak to my guardian angel, or I'd like to speak to Creator. And listen for, it'll be like a thought in your head, because we receive all of these, what are called thought. Now I'm forgetting the word, thought packets. There we go. Uh, Through our pineal gland in the back of our heads. And scientists only know that it creates melatonin. They have not discovered that it also acts as a antenna for every single type of telepathic thought, feeling, image, you name it.
Wow. Beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. So Lisa just posted the actual link to your website. You guys can just click on that and then save that. All right. Cosmic Toga Party says, I love the concept of sending love and light to all beings throughout all dimensions and timelines. Thank you. Yeah, isn't that just opening the doors for us, Cosmic? I tell you. Thank you, Tom. And thank you, Theo.
Yeah, all those little guys.
I love it. Okay, so I want to. I thought we can dive into some of these questions right now, and unless there's more that we want to. I'm sure more questions will come in regards to.
If you have a question, put it up in the
Okay,
comment.
so we do have some questions here. The first one coming in is, hi, Kathleen. Kathleen is asking, any update on when Tom will get a video crew aboard a craft?
They keep telling me it is soon, soon, soon.
Soon,
They
soon,
said
soon.
it has to be at a time that's not only convenient for my family, who will be the crew, and myself, but it has to be at a time when the camera equipment, we're going to have a 4-camera shoot, and all the audio and everything that goes along with it is all available. And there also has to be a time when there are a lot of clouds, because the ship that will not only come for the guys to introduce themselves to our family first, and then a week or two later, whenever it is, after we get the equipment, they'll come and they'll park in a nearby park, and that's where we'll meet them and go. All that has to be so they're masked by clouds, and if anybody's been reading about our weather, we've hardly had a cloud in the sky for the last 2 or more months. It's been brutal.
Now, I have a question in regards to this as well that kind of popped up. The equipment, does it have to be special? Because I would assume that their frequency and stuff would shut it down. Like it would just, because it's whatever
No,
the magnetic stuff going on in their ships and stuff, would you have to have special equipment to get on there?
no. It's going to be regular, you know, Panasonic or Canon. What they're going to give me a list of what I have to bring.
Oh, okay. Because I would assume it might, I don't know. I don't know. Thank you, Kathleen, for that. Sissy. Hi, Sissy.
One of the things I have found out recently that I may not have mentioned to you before is that recently I had read that, there's been all this talk about back engineering crashed ET craft that they've shot down using special radar, pointed radar. And all these from the 40s and 50s mostly, but some later than that. And I read that one guy went inside one of these crashed ships and he was extremely disoriented and even nauseous because on the inside of the ship, which was about a 30-foot wide craft, it seemed to be as big as a football field. Now, Antura, my ET buddy, says that it was not as big as a football field. That that when you go from the 4 negative energies, which is what we're living in, to the 10 positive energies inside the ship, it is larger, but it would be like 150 feet, not 300 feet. And so I said, well, okay, now, Antura, putting 2 to 2 together, you've told me that your mothership is 3 miles wide and 20 stories tall. So does that make that at least 10 or 12 miles wide on the inside? Because he said it's roomy. That's the way he described it. But he didn't want to be specific. So I finally tied him down. Well, he said, yeah, 10 to 12 miles would be at least that. So I figured, well, if 30 feet equals 150, then 3 miles should be 15 miles. So the inside of that mothership sounds to me like it's somewhere around 15 miles wide. He said their scientists were really surprised the first time that they, went from one to the other to discover that the positive energies would remain the same inside their spaceships.
Wow. Oh, that's so interesting. I wouldn't even know how to ask
A
this
roomy
question.
ship with a crew of 900 plus their families, 1,500, 39 different species from 37 planets, plant beings, reptilians, insect beings, bird beings, lots of hominids, people that walk on 2 legs, and so on. So
Wow. Wow.
wide variety, and they all get along together. They all live their whole lives on board that spaceship. So they mostly come from planets where they lived underground, which is very, all our scientists our astronomers say, we've got to look for planets that look like planet Earth. No, you don't. There are many people that live underground because they cannot be on the surface because they would be fried or freeze to death or whatever.
No wonder our planet looks so amazing to people when they're flying by. Because it's so beautiful and you can be outside.
Yeah.
Sissy, hi Sissy. The church is using scriptures to tell their congregation we are now in Revelations where the world is coming to an end and Jesus will be coming. What is your take on this topic due to Gaia and universe from what
Well,
you
as
know?
I said, the earth is going to continue for millions of years, and it's not coming to an end, and Jesus is not going to come back. I did ask just recently, I think it was in one of the last one or two newsletters, has Jesus decided, or somebody asked me to ask this, has Jesus decided whether the soul of Jesus is going to merge with the rest of us and uh, and become a creator? And and Theo, I think it was, said you would think that he's made that decision already, but he hasn't. And he's going to be around for the next several million years advising us uh, as we learn more and more.
And since we're all connected, he comes back with us every time someone new is born. He comes back. He's in all of us, so we're all connected, right? And so to continue his message of love.
Yeah, many people miss the fact because he had to teach in parables
Mm-hmm.
that he taught unconditional love, no matter who they are, what they believe, whatever, unconditional love. And if you follow in his footsteps, you will do well in this life.
Exactly. All right. Mountain Dancer says, Tom, I have to say I envy you with regard to your trip when it comes, when you get to go with your
Yeah,
family.
14 days of 12 to 14-hour days shooting. Just lovely. So,
Okay. Viviani, hello. And Viviani asked, Tom, would you please explain the time compression? If we look at the clock after requesting a time compression, do we need to request it again? Thank you.
probably so. In fact, I used it just this week. Um, I had a problem with my newsletter program, so that when and I normally do this, I compile it on Tuesday afternoon, send it to my editor. She gets it back to me, and on Wednesday morning, I put it together, color the text, add images, and all that stuff. And so the first time that I saved it, um, I got this CSRF token message, and that had happened the week before, so I knew there was no way I could fix it. So I had to wait for my son to um, to come into work, and he normally doesn't do that till around 2:30. So as soon as he got in, I asked him to fix it. He took about 15 minutes. And so when I started to work on it, I requested a compression of time, starting work somewhere around 2:30, 2:45, a compression of time until 5:30. And I did not look at my clock, not one single time. And lo and behold, at 4:30, I was through. I was through with the newsletter. It was amazing. I didn't think I might be through till 6.
So can you explain time compression for those of us who haven't heard this concept yet?
We are able um, to manipulate time a little, okay? And we can do that because of this power of our voices and everything. And so you can say, I request a compression of time until such and such a time. Now you cannot look at your watch, can't look at the computer display, whatever you cannot look at it. Otherwise, it will pop you back to that time, or at least you'd save some time at that point. But then you'd probably have to do it again. So if you do it that way, you're manipulating time just a little, and it may be you have to get across town, and it takes 45 minutes, and it's already 20 minutes till the time you have to be there, and you request a compression of time until you arrive, and then you don't look at the clock in the car or your watch or anything, and you'll get there typically 5 minutes before time.
Okay, so this is a game changer for those who take exams and they need extra time.
Yeah,
Right.
it works. And
Wow.
even for people doing reports or or children doing essays or whatever schoolwork, that could work.
This is a game changer. I'm gonna give it a go. That's amazing. All right. Okay. I'm looking at the starred questions here.
Where did we go?
Right. Chris. Hi, Chris. Chris says, what beings will make themselves visible soon? Have you heard of who will be making themselves visible soon?
Oh, well, of course, when we do our documentary, we're going to interview all the people on. I say all the people, all the different types of people on board the ship, and so that'll be a good opener, so to speak, just to be able to see real aliens or ETs, as I like to call them, and even right now. There's a Pleiadian that when I'm communicating, talking to Ventura, and his three teammates also tune in at the same time. Also at the same time, there's a Pleiadian on board the Pleiadian mothership that's slightly smaller than the Syrian one, and he and I understand a group of 4 or so Pleiadians meet each month with scientists from 6 different countries. And all 6 of these countries, scientists, they all think that they're the only ones these Pleiadians are meeting with. But in actuality, the Pleiadians are meeting with these 6 countries to make sure that no one gets ahead of the others in this back engineering of these aircraft or these spacecraft. And so if you can imagine, it's like seeing that hurricane with all these spaghetti things maybe you've seen in the news, which direction. There are many different ways to the same information, and they're just taking us on a circular, having to do this backwards for the camera. And so we're not going in the most direct way. We're going on the way they feel that is will be benevolent for everybody, including the people up there in these spaceships.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
So they're traveling to the United States and Russia and China and Brazil and a couple of European. I can't remember if Australia is included or not. They may be. So anyway, 6. They look just like us, except
Okay.
for the pointed ears.
Oh, kind of like Spock.
Yeah. You see, there are bleed throughs in all these science fiction.
Oh no, I believe that full-heartedly.
Yeah. Well,
Because
I mean, look at Star Wars. Uh, I originally called it in my book, my first contact book, the Reptilian War. They prefer the name the Great War because that's more diplomatic. And it lasted for 27,000 universal years, but 270,000 Earth years. So is it any wonder that you could come up with all sorts of storylines from a 27,000 year war?
yeah. Okay. Okay. Creator is pure. Hi, Coyote. Coyote says creator is pure love. There's no way to explain it in words what it means. I mean, we have limited words, don't we, Coyote, to
Yes.
explain what pure love is. You're right.
Yeah.
All right.
And creator tells me over and over again, I love every single thing in my creation. It, things that are beyond your understanding at this time.
Yeah. Yeah. It is beyond our language.
Yeah.
Okay. Pamela. Hi, Pamela. Pamela says, are your books still selling, Tom? And have you made a good outcome with your work? So,
uh, that's a strange question. Okay. I would have to say that I would be destitute, okay, if I relied on just the income of my books, okay. I do that out of passion. Um, I make my living out of international film and TV program distribution. Um, and I do that because I was told that in order to prepare for this big series of documentaries we're going to do, I had never had a life previously where I was really in the film business. So they told me I had to learn it from the ground up. And I literally learned it from taking 2 or 3 horror movies made on 16 millimeter film to London and then to Cannes. And that's how I started out. So it was a long road, and but I've negotiated hundreds, if not thousands, of contracts over the last 40 something years, and hopefully I'll do okay when we start. When my daughter and I prepare what's called a pitch deck. That's how films are sold these days. Um, and we prepare a pitch deck to present to all the major players in LA.
so basically, the film stuff is your bread and butter, and your book. This whole area is the books and so forth is your passion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Well, thank
obviously,
you for
if,
sharing
if
the
it
talk.
was, if it were, um, if I didn't have the film business, I would really have to go out working on getting gigs to speak and doing that type of work that many authors do. Of course, I've got a speaking engagement coming up uh, at at the end
Yeah,
of this
and
month.
that's where I wanted to go right now. So
Okay,
let's go ahead and talk about that because
sure.
we're down to our last 8 minutes here.
And we haven't even gotten to all our other questions.
Yeah, no, there's still more questions. I know.
Say la vie. Okay, so on the weekend of September 30th and October 1st, there's going to be a expo called "We Are Not Alone in the Universe." Okay, and if you notice, it's kind of spelled funny on their URL. They just put an R instead of ARE. So we're not alone in the universe.com. They're going to have a number of booths like a typical expo would have. And there's going to be several um, speakers, including me. Um, I'm going to be speaking on October the 1st at 2 p.m. On that Saturday, they're also giving me a table where I'll be having a limited number of books because I'm going to have to guess how many, how many to bring or get from my publisher. And so I'll have a table and I'll sell and sign books at the table. And then I'll speak on first contact conversations with an ET, obviously, because this is heavily oriented to speakers about UFOs and things like that. So,
And you and from what I understand, there's some headliners there going to be with you speaking as
Yeah,
well?
as an example, Dr. Osmanagic is going to be speaking. Typically, now I didn't mention the price. The price is really, really low because this is their first one, and they wanted to get a lot of people in, and then they're going to up the price next May that they're talking about having the next one. But the price is only $15 for one day and $25 for both days. So
Wow.
it's a pretty good deal to have several speakers. Dr. Osmanagic is listed as the headline speaker. I know at another event coming up, I think in Las Vegas or something. So, and I think he's going to speak both days. So
Wow.
the guy that is the wrangler, as he calls himself, of the speakers. We've all spoken before when he used to have groups in Fort Worth, and so he all got us at a cheap price in order to help him start on this journey. So that's I look forward to anybody that's in the Dallas Fort Worth area, or even if you want to come down and spend one night at a hotel. I mean, that's really an inexpensive price for any of these expos these days. If you look at some of the prices that are 200 and 400. So
Well, what a wonderful opportunity if people can do that, get there, or if you're already
yeah, it's at
in
the
in the area.
Grapevine Convention Center in Grapevine, Texas, which is in between Dallas and Fort Worth, near the DFW airport.
Yeah, so you can totally fly in. All right. Okay, so it's www.wernot alonein the universe.com. So it's a little tricky beginning part there, but that's the website if you want to check it out and get more information in regards to what is being offered and get yourself there. And so that's coming up. And what a wonderful opportunity to hang out with like-minded people and bring kind of love and light to this whole thing instead of fear and trepidation, right?
Yes,
That's a big deal.
and
Just
that's yeah.
changing the
We're
narrative.
trying to. All these conspiracy theories keep cropping up. I mean, I've had questions recently. Was there really some type of ray used on Maui? To start the fires. And no, there wasn't. And um, was there a Galactic Federation ship that came and picked people up, and that's why they can't be found? Uh, uh, they're missing. And no, it's sort of like the story of Pied Piper of Hamlin. And actually, what happened back then, I had asked this question just not too long ago. Um, at that time, there was a virus going on, and tons of children were dying. And so, in order to help them get past that, the adults made up the idea of a Pied Piper coming and taking the children away. And that is in a way why the person that received that was for younger souls who were having a hard time coping with the idea of all these people being incinerated in the fire. There was no Galactic Federation ship. Nope. That's just one of those disasters that were on their soul contracts, and it's happened.
Yeah, very sad. Hard to watch as it's always hard for us to watch
Yeah.
challenges in our fellow humans experiences and stuff. It's always hard. Thank you for all the wonderful questions coming in. I want to encourage you, because we're coming to the end of our time together here today, but I would encourage you to go to his website and sign on, and then send questions to Tom directly there. Some
Yes.
wonderful questions,
Go,
and
go
also
to the articles, go to the
go
article
back,
news page first, do a
because
search. There's a little search box. If I haven't answered the question before, then send it in to me.
so you can search, put your question in, and it'll show if he's answered this question, if he has received the answer to this question before. And if not, then send it in. So thank you, Tom, so much.
Sure.
And
My pleasure.
and you can tell that the family loves you here. They bringing in all the questions, but I want to personally thank you for bringing that love and light energy in regards to Gaia, and a higher understanding with that, and also with our galactic family, that you are bringing that love and light and energy there as well, taking away in general, part of being a human is working through the challenges of fear, because we tend to be fear-based. It's been taught to us. And so that's one of the challenges that we have to push through. So thank you for being that light and love for these two areas, for us to kind of press through and step into that energy of light and love with you, in regards to Gaia and our galactic family. So thank you, Tom, for all that you do, and shining that light. You must be very, very busy doing both your bread and butter job, and then just your passion and bringing that to us. So thank you for all that you do.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Good
And
life to everybody.
yeah, blessings to the family here. And please check out the websites. And Lisa, thank you for posting those for everyone to be able to find those easily. Hugging you all. And for those of you who are going to be here tonight with Kim and I, see you there. Love you guys.